Today, grown man has hissy fit over peaceful student organizing. Iran vs. Israel continues. The Republican Party has somehow become the anti-war party. Watcher causes BuzzFeed apology deja vu. And later, we determine what is the Midwest. All this and more on NSR NewsHour. Today's broadcast is brought to you by viewers like you. Become a member today and unlock exclusive content at patreon.com/NorthstarRadio. We start off our coverage in the United States. This is America First.
Now watch this drive.
Last week, students at Columbia University in Manhattan built a solidarity camp on the university lawn, urging the college to divest from Israel and companies perpetuating Israel's apartheid.
My name is Mariam Alwan, and I'm with Columbia SJP, Students for Justice in Palestine, and we are here today to demand that Columbia divest immediately from all stakes in Israeli apartheid. Over 33,000 Palestinians have been killed, and as we speak, our president is testifying in front of the House in a game of political theater that is conflating anti-Zionism with anti-Semitism. We want to focus the attention on what's going on in Gaza and tell Columbia that we are not going anywhere no matter how much government suppression we face. We will keep fighting until they divest.
The biggest gang in New York City, the NYPD, while cosplaying as combat soldiers, entered the campus of Columbia University and began arresting peaceful protesters for trespassing.
Protests and arrests at Columbia University. Here are the pictures. The NYPD, some officers in riot gear descending on Columbia, arresting dozens of pro-Palestinian demonstrators.
One of these student protesters was none other than Isra Hirsi, the daughter of NSR Representative Ilhan Omar. Yes, you heard that correctly. She is my representative. Suck on that.
I was suspended Thursday morning at 10 a.m. with two other fellow Barnard students. The email stated that we had engaged in disruptive behavior, but had not outlined the code of conducts that we had violated. The three of us were the only three that had done public interviews at that point, and so we think that our targeting the reason we got suspended so early was due to the fact that we had made ourselves known.
Isra was not only arrested for trespassing, but she was also indefinitely suspended from Columbia University, where her key card was deactivated and belongings left in an alley. The Barber Streisand effect is real, as after the initial 100 students were arrested, thousands of students stormed the campus lawn and joined in on the protest. Prominent figures in the New York City area joined in on the protest as well, including Dr. Cornel West and Dr. Norman Finkelstein.
Thank you.
It honestly warms my heart seeing Norman Finkelstein being accepted by these students and the youth of America, because he was blacklisted from academia decades ago. The camp was expanded, food was being delivered to the camp by Good Samaritans of New York City, and over the weekend, faculty of the university joined in on the protest and formed a chain around the Solidarity camp. Let the record show this absolutely did not make me cry. This even inspired several other solidarity encampments to form at universities all over the country. Unfortunately, the NYPD returned and began mass arresting faculty of the university. However, the Solidarity encampment may have won, at least for now. On Tuesday, Columbia University announced that all classes will be remote for the rest of the year, allowing for students in the Solidarity Camp to continue attending class while participating in peaceful protest. People seem to think that these protests are anti-Semitic. That's been the talking point ever since the protests began on October 8th. One of these individuals spouting this dangerous rhetoric and calling for violence against peaceful protesting students at Columbia is none other than Columbia University assistant professor and self-described Zionist Shai Davidey. Not only has Davidey been active in the student protests, being a creepy guy on the side taking photos, as well as leading groups of pro-Israeli counter-protesters, he even went on Israeli television to do what? To call students of Columbia University Hamas.
First of all, thank you for having me. This is an important topic. This is not just about Columbia. This is every U.S. college. They have said that they are going to bring down Columbia first, and then as a domino effect, we'll have all other universities. But I want to make clear one thing before I talk about my own actions. What we're seeing now at Columbia, and I don't use this word lightly, we're not seeing ideological war. We're not seeing support for terrorism. We are seeing terrorism. We are seeing Hamas on campus.
I love when people are so loose with the term terrorism that they're willing to call peaceful protesting students terrorists. But when they look at the actions of Israel over the past 6 months, terrorism doesn't come to mind.
President Minu Shafiq supports Hamas. President Minu Shafiq supports Islamic Jihad because every minute that she doesn't let the NYPD clear out these terrorists from campus, she's a terrorist supporter. And I stand by my words.
Remember like 5 years ago when conservatives were freaking out over college campuses not being a place for free speech? They were under the impression that some sort of censorship was taking place on people that weren't woke enough? Yeah, those people are now the same people calling for the National Guard to come onto college campuses and arrest peacefully protesting college students. It's almost like conservatives don't care at all about free speech, and they just want to be the moderators of speech entirely. I think you'd be happy to learn that this Shai Davidey guy, assistant professor at Columbia University, has been suspended indefinitely, and his card has been deactivated.
Can you back up, please?
My card has been deactivated? Why?
Can you back up, please?
Wait.
In other national news, TikTok is too effective at radicalizing the youth. On Monday, Congress passed a bill that would potentially ban TikTok in the United States if their current owner, ByteDance, refused to sell. And why would they? The United States is only like 8% of their market. The bill will now head to the desk of Joe Brandon, where it's expected to be signed.
Good morning. Good morning, sir. It's a good day for America, it's a good day for Europe, and it's a good day for world peace, for real. This is consequential. I just signed into law the national security package that was passed by the House of Representatives this weekend and by the Senate yesterday. It's going to make America safer, it's going to make the world safer, and it continues America's leadership in the world, and everyone knows it.
Why is TikTok being banned? Why is this the one thing that our government can agree on? From writing the bill and then passing the bill in Congress and then sending it to the desk of Joe Brandon, that process took like 2 weeks tops. I think a part of the reasoning is xenophobia. TikTok is in no way owned by the Chinese government, something that a lot of people seem to believe. But it is owned by a Chinese company, and the United States seems to be using their tactics of demonizing China in order to get people to be afraid of TikTok. But I don't think xenophobia is the main reason. If you look at hashtag usage on the app, you see a clear political divide. A political divide that is a threat to American global hegemony. Hashtags in support of Palestine vastly outnumber hashtags in support of Israel. It's not even close. Director of the Anti-Defamation League, Jonathan Greenblatt, in a leaked phone call, admitted that TikTok is doing too good a job at radicalizing American youth.
I also want to point out that we have a major generational problem. All the polling I've seen, ADL's polling, ICC's polling, independent polling, suggests this is not a left-right gap, folks. The issue in the United States of support for Israel is not left and right. It is young and old. And the numbers of young people who think that Hamas's, massacre was justified is shockingly and terrifyingly high. And so we really have a TikTok problem brains that gave us Taglit, the same brains that gave us all these other amazing innovations, need to put our energy toward this, like, fast. Because again, like, we've been chasing this left-right divide. It's the wrong game. The real game is the next generation, and the Hamas and their accomplices, the useful idiots in the West, are falling in line in ways that are terrifying. Lastly, I'll just say, we saw a dramatic change in the language of the activists here in America on October the 8th.
All this audio proof to me is that we're doing something right. Do not slow down. Alright, it's time to see what's happening around the globe. It's time for global happenings. Where we last left off, Iran hit Israel in an unprovoked attack. Okay, I cannot believe how many people thought I was being serious when I said that Iran hit Israel in an unprovoked attack. I know Israel hit Iran first in early April. I know that. Get off my case. Not a ton has happened since then. Israel returned with some more airstrikes on parts of Iran. Iran hasn't returned any more fire since Israel still hasn't admitted to the original airstrike in Damascus, Syria. Nothing's really happened. Something I forgot to mention last week, though, is that in the initial Iranian strike on Israel, Iran used mostly old and expiring weaponry, basically junk. Yet Israel still had to combat this junk and ended up wasting over $1 billion in a single night because of it. Definitely a win for Iran. Speaking of war, somehow the Republican Party has become the anti-war party? Not really, but I am concerned for what I'm seeing. Over the weekend, Congress passed another Ukraine aid bill that would send another $60.8 billion to Ukraine.
Some say, well, we have to deal with our border first. The Ukrainian-Russian border is our border.
Being voted on in Congress today, $60 billion of funding for Ukraine, as well as $26 billion for Israel and $8 billion for Taiwan.
Now, obviously, Ukraine needs help. Medical supplies, food, an end to this war. But what aid are we sending them? More weapons to die for no other cause than our proxy war with Russia and China. The war has basically come to a standstill. No one is gaining or losing land anymore. We need peace agreements, aid and rebuilding for the Ukrainian people. No more war. And sending more weaponry is not gonna bring the end of this war. Oh yeah, and the majority of Republicans voted against this aid bill. And every single Democrat voted for it. What is happening to the Democratic Party? Why don't we slow down a little bit? Take in the fresh air. Because it's time for the Northwoods Report. Early Tuesday morning, students at University of Minnesota in Minneapolis set up a solidarity encampment, like the ones seen at Columbia, Yale, MIT, and several other universities around the country. Within less than an hour, the MPD was on campus arresting student organizers.
Yeah.
Hi.
With 11 cop cars and a ratio of 7 cops for every 1 student. One of the students arrested went on to say, "I can't believe I got arrested for sitting on grass." As seen at Columbia, arrests only lead to the mobilization of more protesters. So as it goes, later in the day at 2 p.m., an emergency protest took place across the street from the original encampment.
They have made a grave error in doing this, and we will mobilize against it.
New tents were set up, this time more permanent and sturdy in the form of yurts. I was there, and I don't think I've seen a quicker mobilization of students in all the time I've protested for Palestine here in Minneapolis. So many people showed up to this protest. In no time, it was literally scheduled the morning of. It was later visited by Ilhan Omar, representative of NSR NewsHour.
I have the proud honor of representing this incredible university in Congress. And I have to tell you, I am incredibly moved by your courage and bravery as a student body in putting your bodies on the line to stand in solidarity to end the genocide that is taking place in Gaza at this moment.
But unfortunately, cops and state police showed up, like the filthy gang they are, ready to criminalize the free speech and assembly of the American youth. They gave 20 minutes to leave the lawn, and everyone did. Day 2 of the Minneapolis Solidarity Encampment came to a close. You can follow North Star Radio on other platforms like Twitter to stay up to date with the latest news here in Minneapolis, around the country, and around the globe. Over the weekend, the Stone Arch Bridge officially closed for construction, planned to open in spring of 2026. Now, I'm not sure how well you know Minneapolis, but there's a massive river gorge in the middle of the city. Because of this, we have lots of bridges, many of which are designed for cars and not so much for other types of movement. This is why the Stone Arch Bridge is such a valued bridge, not only for its beautiful views of the skyline and the Mississippi River, but simply as a tool for getting across the river. I love biking. I bike all the time. But I live on the opposite side of the river to downtown Minneapolis. So I use the Stone Arch Bridge to get across the river incredibly often. But to keep it brief, these are some pretty dark times in Minneapolis. The world is rapidly changing. The internet is a growing trend, and the kids are using it in mysterious ways. Let's get social. There's a new phenomenon sweeping the internet. 3 former BuzzFeed dudes sitting on a couch in disbelief of what's taking place. On April 19, the popular Watcher YouTube channel, started in 2020 by former BuzzFeed video employees, announced they will be leaving the YouTube platform to focus on their own streaming platform, which would cost $6 a month to view new and all of their past content. People did not take this lightly, with the video now sitting at 250,000 dislikes. They've since released a new video walking back some of their initial claims.
Hey everyone, last Friday we announced that we're leaving YouTube and launching our new streaming platform.
We messed up. A lot of you spoke out with extremely valid comments and concerns, and we want to take the time now to address those.
We've been reading the things you've been saying, and we're sorry for the way we handled this, as well as the way we communicated it. We understand where you're coming from, and we're making immediate changes.
They will now post all their content on YouTube, but simply use their streaming service as an early release type thing, where videos will be released a month prior to their free release, which basically defeats the whole purpose of a streaming service. I mean, they already had a Patreon. What's the point of this streaming service if you're gonna post everything on YouTube anyway now? I think there's a greater problem with like YouTube channels expanding so much to the point that they implode on themselves, because Watchers said that they have 25 employees. Like, I know they make good content, but do they really need 25 employees? Like, they're not making that much content. If you look at H3, for example, they have a max like 9 employees, and they all do a lot of work. They work hard, they make great content, but you don't see them, making a lot of exclusive content. They have like 1 paid show a week, and all their other content, like 10 hours worth a week, is free. For whatever reason, the main victim of all this drama is the CEO of Watchers, Stephen Lim. People have been attacking bro endlessly. During this whole drama, old audio was uncovered from a podcast where he admitted to having racist and homophobic friends, causing his own opinions about queer people to be questioned as well.
It's hard to really read into this because I have a lot of friends who are a little bit racist and a little bit homophobic, and I'm still friends with them. And I'm not saying that I'm friends with them because of their values. I just value them as people themselves, and I try to keep them around and try to, educate them with what I can. But it's not something that I don't want to cut ties with everybody because of their belief system. Because frankly, I have a different value system than Katie and Shane and Ryan.
In the end, who cares? This is not drama I care about in any way. 3 BuzzFeed dudes sitting on a couch apologizing. Tell me when one of them cheats with an employee. Then I'll be invested. It's now time for Weekend Update, a completely new concept I made up on my own. But first, let me address the elephant in the room. I got new shoes. I write these videos on Monday, meaning by the time I upload them on Sunday, a lot of the stories I covered have further developed, making it necessary for a quick weekend update. Student solidarity encampments for Palestine have now spread to over 100 universities in the United States alone. And they haven't just spread, they've escalated. Students at California State Polytech successfully occupied a campus building and fought off riot police with help from a 4-gallon water jug. They've since occupied a section of campus where they've began constructing shields out of dumpster lids, barricaded all access points, and they even have a trophy display of riot helmets they've acquired from clashes with police. The movement has spread abroad, and students at a university in Paris have also occupied a campus building. Here in Minneapolis, at their 4th attempt at forming a solidarity encampment, students were confronted by riot police threatening arrest. However, at 1 a.m., after a 1-hour standoff, the cops just walked away. At UT Austin, things got really out of control. Texas State Police showed up on campus, some on horseback, and began arresting students, journalists, legal observers, and even high-ranking professors at the university.
Yes, can you call the philosophy department office and tell them I've been arrested?
Philosophy department?
Yes, call the philosophy department office.
I will. What's your...
I'm chair of the philosophy department.
I got you.
At USC, the 4-gallon water jug returned and assisted students in covering sprinklers that were used to deter students from organizing. De-arresting tactics have increased. And at USC, a group surrounded a cop car holding a student and successfully got them de-arrested. A father of a student at USC joined in on the protest, and he had some beautiful things to say.
Do you know where your daughter is right now?
Right now, gotta be somewhere because the police start chasing all the students. As you see, they are threatening, if we don't leave the campus, we are gonna be arrested. But the students are so brave. Look at them, they don't wanna leave the campus.
Does that concern you, though, as a father, that your daughter is somewhere?
Even though it concerns me, but my daughter did a right decision. If she rather to be arrested fighting for Palestine, I will be the happiest daddy. I will be the happiest daddy if she's doing the right thing. And I know she's doing the right thing. If the police arrest me now, I am willing to go with the students. I have no problem, because what I am doing is the right thing, fighting against a genocide.
Twitch streamer Hassan Piker visited the Solidarity encampment at UCLA and was seemingly being followed by an undercover cop.
Do we think this guy's a cop? Bro. What is this? What? Is this I don't know. It looks like he's a cop. What's up?
That's definitely a fucking cop, right? 100%. My boyfriend. That's crazy.
This has been NSR News Hour. Join us again next week as we continue our coverage of student uprisings. And if you are participating in these protests, especially at Columbia, make sure to dress accordingly. Helmets, gas masks, pads of any sort. Don't forget about what happened at Kent State. Peace and love, and free Palestine.